Alright, there's a video for one VT and one HT, or as I like to call it, one VHT, about the practice test of chapter 2. So I'm going to be explaining some things that you should know for this chapter. I'm going to send you the answers for this whole practice test, so you don't have to watch the video, but I will explain a few things that you might find difficult. We'll start with these new words, the sum, product, difference, and also we see the quotient here. The word sum, that means plus, so you have to add two numbers. So to calculate the sum of 13 and 9, this is what we do. We do 13 plus 9 equals 22. So that's the answer. Then for B we have the product, so that's a new word, but product means times. So you have to do 7 times 21. So here we do 7 times 21, and then we get 147. And that's the answer there. Then with C, we have to calculate the difference. Well, the difference is minus. So then you have to do 10 minus 10. Alright, and that's 0. And then for question D, that one is kind of difficult. We need to calculate the sum, so we have to do plus, but we have to do the product of 3 and 4, and the quotient means divided by, of 26 and 13. So first we'll do the product of 3 and 4, so we have to do 3 times 4, but we also need to calculate the quotient of 26 and 13, so 26 divided by 13, and those two things we need to add, because it says the sum there. So this is what the exercise is. 3 times 4 is 12, 26 divided by 13 is 2, and 12 plus 2 is 14. So just to sum up what these words mean, we have the word sum, and sum means plus. We have the word difference, and difference means minus. And then we have the word product, and product means times. And then we have the word quotient, and that means divided by. So here's just a little thingy, to say what is what. Alright, moving on. I'm not going to discuss everything. I'll just pick a few exercises, and the rest I'll fill in before I email all of this to you. The second question is about calculating, and you have to write down the intermediate steps. Okay, so I'm going to do an easy one, or actually an intermediate one, and a difficult one. I think this one, B is nice to do, and then we'll also do the very big one, we'll also do that. Okay, so you need to know the order of operations, otherwise you can't really do this, right? And the order of operations says that first you have to calculate something in brackets. So we're going to do 21 minus 8, so that's 13, and then I just copy the rest. It's very important that you just do it step by step, and each time you just write the rest down. Okay, so these are called like intermediate steps. You write down all the steps that you do. So the brackets are done, and now we do times. So here I see 13 times 4. 13 times 4 is 52, and 3 divided by 3 is 1. And then I'm going to write down 12 plus over here. So now we have 12 plus 52 plus 1. Well, 12 plus 52 is 64. 64 plus 1 is 65. And that is the answer for exercise 2b. Now for exercise 2a and 2c, I'm just going to send you the answers later. Alright. Moving on to my next paper. I have 2d over here. Now 2d is kind of a big exercise, as you can see. Alright. So we're just going to try and solve it. We first have to do the brackets. So what we can do is we can calculate this over here. 80 divided by 8 is 10. And we can also calculate this over here, but then we have to calculate the brackets that are in the other brackets first. Here we have 400 minus 2 times 75. Well, 2 times 75 is 150. And 400 minus 150 is 250. So the outcome of that is 250, and the outcome of this is 10. And then we just copy the rest. So I write down 400 minus that. Here I write down plus 450 divided by, and then here I write down 350 minus 4 times 10. Alright. Then we'll do the next thing. We need to do the brackets now. So 400 minus 250 is 150. So I'll just write that down, and then we copy the rest. So 350 minus 4 times 10 plus all of this. Alright, so these brackets are gone, those brackets are gone. Now we can do times and divided by. So here I see 4 times 10, that's 40. And here I see 450 divided by 150. and that's 3. Then I copy this plus that you see there, and I copy the 350 that was in front of it. And now it's just plus and minus, so we can go from the left to the right. 350 minus 40 is 310. 310 plus 3 is 313. So that's the answer for 2D. So it's kind of a big exercise, but here's how to work it out. Alright, moving on to the next part. Alright, we have this. If we take a look at the practice test, right, we're now at exercise 3, and exercise 3 is about adding and multiplying fractions. Okay, so I'm going to do not all of them, but I'm going to show you a few. Here we have, well, let's just do C and D, because those are the most difficult ones. Okay. Here we have 3 1/8 and 1 3/4, then we need to add it. So you have to make the denominator, the one on the bottom, the same. So here we have 3 1/8, and the other one we're also going to make into 8. Right? So I make it twice as big, so at the top you get 6 there. And then when you add it, you have 3 plus 1, that's 4. And then you have 1 plus 6 is 7 over 8. Now sometimes it happens that you have a number that's bigger than 8 here, right? You could have 10 over 8, for example. And then you can still take a whole number out of it. So this would have been a 5 then. But now that's not the case. It's 4 7 over 8. And also you cannot simplify this. This is it. All right. Moving on to the really difficult question. That's D here. Because we also have to do the brackets first, and then we need to multiply it. So first we're going to take a look at the brackets here. And we need to make the denominator, the one on the bottom, the same. So I'm thinking it should be 10. Because we have 5 and 2, and if you multiply it you get 10. So here we have 4 and then 4 over 10, because we made this twice as big, right? We did times 2. And here we have 1 and then 5 over 10, because we made this one 5 times as big. Now this is still in brackets, times 3/4. Right, now we can subtract it, right? So 3 minus 1, oh sorry, 4 minus 1 is 3, but also this one is like smaller than that one, so we have to make this one bigger. So I'm going to write down an intermediate step. I'm going to make this into 3 and then 14 over 10. So what happened is I took one number here and just added it to the fraction. And then here you have 1 5 over 10. So like that, times 3/4. Because now this number is big enough to subtract 5 from it, right? Because 14 minus 5 is 9. So we have 9/10. And 3 minus 1 is 2. So we have 2 9 over 10 times 3 over 4. Okay, so we're still not done, because now we need to multiply these fractions. If you want to multiply it, you have to put this 2 in the fraction. So this will be 20 over 10, right? Because you have a 10 here. 2 times 10 is 20. Plus 9 is 29 over 10 times 3 over 4. If you multiply fractions, you do the numerator times the numerator. So 29 times 3, so that is 87. And then at the bottom you do 10 times 4 is 40. Alright, 40. And then you can take 2 whole numbers out of it, because 40 fits 2 times in 78. So you have 2 and then 7 over 40 left. And that is the answer for exercise 3D. Alright. Let's see what else I'm going to explain. I mean, the test is kind of big, so maybe I'll make 2 videos. I'll explain 4 now. Alright, so that's I have a bit of the calculation already over here. But let's read the question. The question 4 says, Lisa will visit her cousin Anne. She travels the first 1/9 of the distance by bicycle. Then she does 3/4 by train, and thereafter 1/8 by bus. And then she walks the remaining distance, which is 3 kilometers. Right? Calculate the total distance. Okay, so what happens is, if I just draw it on here, right? I mean, she starts somewhere. So let's say she starts here and she wants to go to her cousin Anne. So she goes all this way and then she is to her cousin Anne, right? The last bit is 3 kilometers and she walks that, right? But first she does 1/9 of the distance she does by bicycle. Then she goes by train for 3/4. And then there is 1/8 left, and then she does that with the bus. So now I'm wondering what part of the trip is left, and that part should be 3 kilometers. Right? So the way to solve this is to add these 3 fractions. So that's why I wrote that down over here. We're going to add them, And as the common denominator, so the common thing that you can have at the bottom, we can do 9 times 8, that's 72. We don't use the 4 because 4 times 2 is already 8. So if you use the 8, then this one will also be alright. So everything will be 72 here. That means we made this one 8 times as big because 9 times 8 is that. So if you make it 8 times as big, you will get an 8 over there. This one we made, if you do 72 divided by 4, you get 18. So this one we made 18 times as big. So 3 times 18 is 54, like that. And this one we made 9 times as big, so you get a 9 there. Now when you add all of this is 62 plus 9 is 71 out of 72. Right? So the distance that she travels with the bicycle, train and bus, together it's 71 over 72. So that means that the walking distance is 1 out of 72, right? Because if you add this and that together you get 1, and that's the total distance then. So 172 is 3 kilometers. That means that the total distance is, and then we have to do 3 times 72, because 172 of the total distance is 3, so if you multiply this, you know what the total distance is, and that is 216 kilometers. So that's how exercise 4 works, and for the other questions I'll make a different video. Thank you for watching.